Thanks for staying with us as we take you through the front pages of the newspapers this morning. Quite a lot we would look at, and when we have more time, we'll come back to analyze some of the issues. The Nation newspaper will be our first. As we see right here earlier, the governor of Benue said hopeful Benue killings will end with Tinubu's visit. We have spoken a bit about that, and we'll talk more as we get to go on this conversation. This Nigeria has it bloody Benue. This madness must stop now. This is quoting the Christian councils who are charging the president to declare emergency on security and other bodies as the communities are grieving at this time. Really a sad one going on in Benue State. But the Hope newspaper would be our next this morning. And we'll see right here, same issue as well on the Benue conversation, which we would talk about strongly when we get into that part. This News Direct is our next paper. And we see right here, Nigerians shouldn't fear police more than terrorists. Nigerians shouldn't fear police more than terrorists. Okay, that's a very strong focus right here. And the Leadership newspaper is our next, and very boldly we see the conversation of Democracy Day, what Tompolo is written to the grassroots. Maybe we'll touch on that when we return, but the Punch is our next to focus on the headlines this morning. The same thing again right here on the Punch. It seems Tompolo really wants us to see exactly what he was talking about. All right, Daily Independent would be our next paper this morning. PDP leaders worried as plan to revive party faces hurdle. Well, okay. Daily Trust would be our next paper to look at this morning. And right there we see fresh trouble for PDP as INEC rejects NEC notice. All right, we'll talk more on that when we return. The Guardian newspaper would be our next this morning. Property owners shun C of O title, registries over bureaucracy and graft. Something to actually talk about when we return right there. The Blueprint is our next paper as we see the Benue governor welcoming the president to Benue State. But at the top nameplate right there, Nigeria needs 110 billion naira annually to fix infrastructure gap. This is quoting the African Development Bank. Okay. The Platform Times would be the next as we look at it this morning. And the same thing on the Platform Times, the same conversation on what is going on in Benue State. But another issue right there, which is a little bit different. We would look at that when we return. And finally, the Sporting Life. A lot of headlines on the Sporting Life. Maybe we would touch on one, but I always like to talk Sime. But Man United tables 127.9 million euro offer for Rafina. Rafina also seems to be another guy who is in demand. But my team is full. Ria is here, Veronica and Etoma, as we would do justice to some of these conversations this morning. Etoma, the president is in Benue State, or might I say, going to Benue State today. I know we've spoken quite a lot, about it, but the governor is hoping that this would bring an end to the matter.
I'm hoping that this will bring an end to the matter too. Everybody is hoping that this will bring an end to the matter. And if it, I like the mobilization of a security apparatus in Nigeria who are in Benue State. We are talking about the top, the big
top
men,
of the top.
The big men. They are all there. And look at what the Chief of Defense Staff said. He said when he got there, he saw that these attacks were targeted. That means there is an inside person. So you see where I'm going towards this thing being political, and what Uncle Sam said here yesterday too. When you put all those together, you have this confidence that if Mr. President goes there, something will be done.
And Veronica, let me check a little bit on something a bit different. Dangote is distributing fuel and diesel across the country, still on the Nation newspaper, for free. And we took that heading earlier. Is this monopoly or,
Yeah? Which kind of corruption? Is this monopoly?
Nigerians are never satisfied.
You can see it in different ways. You can address it in different ways. He decides that he wants to ensure that Nigerians have access to petroleum products, and he wants to do it for free. But his intention, it's what we are now saying, oh, is this really for free or because you want to have a hold of that industry? He's in business to make money. He's in business to make a name for himself. He's in business. So every businessman does not necessarily like competition, if you want to look at it critically. And so if he decides to do that for free, let's applaud him for, delivering petroleum products across the country for free. But at the end of the day, would this translate to him being the monopoly or monopolizing this sector? I'm not sure others who play in that field will want that to happen, because that was the challenge he had at the beginning when he came, when he was trying to institute the Dangote refinery, and a lot of persons began to say that, oh, this is about monopoly, this is about this and that, trust again coming to the fore. Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, he's in business to make money, and every businessman do not want competition.
I want to add something to this quickly. These are those kind of gifts that when you give the person the gift, they are afraid. Like, are you really giving me this gift? Like, this free gift, I will pay later. We need to understand that Dangote is a strong businessman, and I believe that this is strategic. Say it however you like it. He cannot give fuel free for a very long time. Indeed. He's a strategic businessman, and he knows what he's doing.
Yes, I think the people that are making the most noise are the tanker drivers, because that's taking a lot of business from their hands. So you can understand why they are making noise, and they are the ones that are flying this monopoly flag too, because this guy is taking business from their hands. If those guys do not do business for a day, they know how much they are losing, and there's no time limit to when Dangote is going to stop. This is Father Christmas arrangement with the distribution of petrol. But the effective thing he would achieve is to cut out the middleman.
Well, Ria, let me take you to this Nigeria. We see something here. President flags of INEC headquarters annex, commissions Abuja bus terminal. Wike is in the offing here.
We cannot deny the fact that though sometimes we don't like the way he approaches matters, but he's doing well in Abuja.
Wike, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
He is doing really well in Abuja in terms of what was the question?
The president is going to commission INEC headquarters, a new
INEC annex headquarters, and also a bus terminal as well.
Exactly.
I was in Abuja recently, and I went to the ICCU, and I tell you, it is beautiful. I'm not even going to lie.
You can see that stage, isn't it?
I know, and I'm already seeing myself hosting on that stage. It's beautiful, and I'm just saying that Abuja looks totally different from what it used to look before.
Right.
We have to give him his accolades, for that particular one, and more commissions are happening as well. He already said it, so we just need to look forward for more. And I cannot wait to see the new annex, the annex office for INEC.
Are you going to be on annex staff? To the news direct, I'm really worried about that. Nigerians shouldn't fear police more than terrorists. Have we even snowballed to that point?
For that statement to be made at all, for the statement to be made at all means that fear exists. And why should that fear exist for the police? I always say the parentage of an organization determines how the organization is viewed, how the organization works, and so on and so forth. How did the police start? It was an organization in the colonial days that was put together to protect the whites from the natives. That is the narrative that's still going on.
Yeah.
So now it's just that we have replaced the whites to the elites. You get? And so the people on the other side see the police as worse than terrorists. It's unfortunate that it has gotten to this point, but that statement is made at all shows that yes, that fear exists.
The police is supposed to be your friend. At the end of the day, I know there's always this statement: the police is your friend. So how do you turn out to be afraid of the police?
Well, I mean,
it's quite a statement.
Indeed, and the leadership, is dealing with the issue of Dangote, which we've touched on a little bit. So we won't stay on that as we run quickly to the Punch newspaper, and. I'm trying to look for that where I dropped it right here. But again, the conversation of Tompolo is right here. But Veronica, PDP is in crisis according to the Punch newspaper here. It says, chairs Governor INEC hold emergency talks. I don't know. I don't think PDPs realize that 2027 no foul.
Of course, they realize that, and they have politicians who have experience, but it's unfortunate that their experience is not coming to play at addressing the challenges that they have, because your experience is supposed to, you know, show itself in cases like this, in matters like this. But the issue here is that they are calling for their 100th NEC meeting. And INEC is saying you did not follow the guidelines, particularly Part 2, subsection 12, subsection 3, that requires that there are certain persons, 2 persons, sign, you know, the whatever message or information you sent, or the INEC, notice you sent to INEC. Only 1 person
signed.
Damagum signed, but we need the secretary to also sign. But you know, that's where the crisis has been. Wike is saying this is where we are. You people are jokers. When they had the 99th meeting, and he said this meeting that you people had is just a family meeting, so to speak, because the secretary that you people are refusing to acknowledge was not part of it. And so this back and forth is seemingly deepening the crisis. So they are in an emergency meeting involving INEC, perhaps to look at how they can push that forward. But you see, they can't keep dragging INEC into the mud for certain things. If there are rules, if there are guidelines, follow it, so that we know that you are doing the needful at the end of the day. So stop putting your problems on the table of INEC for INEC to resolve your issue when you are the problem.
Exactly, and you cannot even try to start shifting blames. Now, my problem with the PDP is that it seems like they are, when you look at your selfish interest is not going to help you for the betterment of the party. That's just what it's looking like. Because they know better, Veronica. They know that if one person signs, if the chairman signs, INEC will not take it. So what are they trying to do? And that's why it surprises me. I'm like, what are they thinking?
They expect INEC to turn a blind eye, but there are rules and regulations.
There are rules and regulations that must be followed.
Make people say that INEC is this, is that, and all of it. They call tarnish INEC's image.
There are rules that must be followed.
Not doing the needful.
And I think somebody came to this table, Ria, before I raised another issue to you, came to this table and said that that's part of the reason why governors are jumping off that ship, because they're trying to secure that 2027 ticket. Because if you get to INEC and your secretary didn't sign, like you just alluded to earlier, Veronica, and then we don't recognize that you are actually the candidate of your party. This is sad, really.
And that's the same thing that the president was saying. If you do not put your party right and people are leaving, you cannot blame anybody. Because as we see it now, the party is really shaking and there's a lot of confusion.
And on the Daily Independent, Ria, a conversation on the coastal highway, Afenifere tackled federal government over exclusion of Ondo Delta. I'm trying to do the link math in my head, how that would have gone through that, and why would they have been excluded from the conversation of that road?
Afenifere always has something to say, but the road is the Calabar Coastal Road, if I'm correct. So he wants it to be linked to Ondo.
No, it's a coastal road that cuts across both Calabar, even Ondo State.
But they are not, if there's anything I know, they are not done with the coastal road as well.
It should link coastal areas.
The issue is that when you're trying to put a road together, there are some things you take into consideration. You want to see the length of the road because the costing of roads are done per kilometers in Nigeria. So the fewer kilometers you have, the better for you. So you want the road to go straight. But Afenifere is saying that the road would have had a detour to Ogun State and to other places, which would have increased the mileage. If there's
Do they have a coast?
Yes, Ondo has.
Ondo has a
coast. Ondo does.
And it's been encroached as we speak. And all of that because of climate change and all of that. But the road is meant to pass through coastal areas. Then you can move easily across, be it Lagos, wherever. But this faction of Afenifere keeps speaking against whatever government is doing. And they want, from my perspective, they seemingly want to get government's attention, and so will clinch on anything that they feel would draw the attention of government to what they are saying.
No, if that is what they are looking for, then they should look for issues that
are stronger than
there are other internal issues within Ondo State that should be developed before you talk about coastal road. There are other issues that I feel they can be talking about.
Oh no, I agree absolutely with you. I mean, you're coming to fix outside when inside is.
And he's been saying a lot actually. It's been in the news.
Well, the Daily Trust is also looking at the same thing, but I think we should jump quickly to the Guardian newspaper, Veronica Ria and Etoma. And there's something here a little bit concerning to me. Property owners shun C of O title, registries over bureaucracy graft. And there's a story, in the FCT where residents of Abuja Estate are suing for justice, in the FCT for encroachment. I'm wondering, this conversation around C of O's. Initially, when you want to build your house, you go through all the documentations and you acquire all the legal rights before you put your structure up. How come years after we're still talking of C of O? Shouldn't you have had that before?
Yeah, the thing about C of O is that you can actually push for the C of O, and it takes 2-3 years. Those are the bottlenecks they are talking about for you to get the documents. So are you going to sit and wait for 2-3 years before you start your project? You will go ahead and start your project. Whenever the C of O comes, let it come. And when you finish your project, you've packed into your house and the bureaucracy is still rearing its ugly head, let it go on. And that's the way the average Nigerian feels about it. However, it is a wrong. You are supposed to have your C of O. That's the document that really shows that you have been given the legal right to occupy that piece of land for 99 years. But have you tried to get a C of O before? Brother, it takes a lot. And it shouldn't be so, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and to add to that, they said that the process is quite cumbersome. They are looking at the use of technology to make the process seamless, because that's what has been encouraging corruption and graft and all of it that they are seeing, and so are saying that it is important that they address all of those bottlenecks to make the process seamless. I'm wondering why it's so difficult for us to have a seamless process when it comes to
I know we say technology. Every time we say we want to use technology, technology is out there for us to use. Why do we keep saying we want to use it when we can just go ahead and use it? Honestly. And to look at it is, I know people that have gone through stress just trying to get the C of O. And C of O is very important. We do not understand the importance of that thing. You can even use that document to get a loan from the bank.
Oh, definitely.
That is the document that will make sure you don't even have disputes over a period of time. So we shouldn't let Nigerians stress. Imagine they're telling you 3 years and you want to build your house. At some point, you'll just be tired and you go on with it.
You go on and do something else, unfortunately.
Well, the blueprint is also talking about that, and I think we've dealt quite a number, dealt well on those issues. The Platform Times is talking about underfunded police, porous borders, endanger Nigeria's security. Interior Minister is warning RIA. We don't have a lot of time, but I think we've also spoken about the need to secure our borders, and the Interior Minister is warning against this right here. It's time for us to see this happen.
I watched Mr. Tunji speak, and he was so passionate. I don't know if you all watched
He's always very passionate.
He's very passionate because, and some of the things he said are just the truth. When we're talking about the FRS this morning, I was saying that do they even have enough fund, first of all? And that's something he mentioned as well. Like, is there even enough funding for you to fight what you have? He also spoke about cybersecurity. Like, these are things that we need to start putting in place. The borders are porous. We're seeing it. It's happening. You kill 20 terrorists, like he says, the next day you are seeing more come out again. What are we doing to secure it? Rather than just speaking, there are measures that need to be taken that have to be taken.
Indeed.
And I really loved, the conversation he had. I think it was a great one.
Well, and Veronica, you are my sports lady on the table. My only sports lady on the table. Rafina, 127.9 million euro offering.
You're always after money, Nelson.
That is it.
Veronica, leave me on that matter.
I will not leave you on this matter. I will not. Leave money alone if you're not playing.
I don't know why you're not even playing football. We'll have been rich by now.
It didn't work, my dear. I tried. It didn't work.
If yesterday we were talking about the fact that Osimhen, Liverpool needed him, and here we are seeing Rafina, Man United offering Rafina 127.9 million euros, as the case may be. I'm thinking I should be on the field right now.
She was accusing me.
Very, if you play football, I will be a wrestler.
That's
Sumo wrestler. But it's good for Rafina.
Yeah.
But the story that actually caught my eye is Nwabali escaping Chipper's axe, because we know that he plays for South Africa Chippers
as well,
and they got a new coach, and so the coach, as he has come in, of course, when you have a new management, they'll take out some persons and keep some persons, and he was lucky to not have been cleared out by those other ones. He's part of those that was retained, and I think that it's good for him because he has been on all fours, doing the needful for the team. We saw how he showed up and showed out all the while for the team. But he just buried his parents, and we can only just extend his condolences.
We need to give him credit. I mean, the young man is good at what he does.
Absolutely.
And so if you have him on your team, you want to keep him.
Definitely. And I'm glad that the matter of xenophobia did not come on the line. He's been able to survive all of that because he's been delivering value to the team. So that's good for him.
That's what they say. When you have value, it's hard for people to, just let you go like that.
Absolutely. And that's the value we can deliver to you this morning.